These gentlemen up here, we've got Jackson, Max, and Caio. Did I say that right? They are going to be talking local data, drones, AI, and community action, helping track koalas nationally. I'll leave it to these. Oh, sorry. I forgot. This is a new session. I'm Katie Selhorst. I'm from Landcare, Australia. I am the head of landscape restoration, and I'm also a chief remote drone pilot. We will leave questions to the end. Hopefully these guys will get through their presentation, and then we'll walk around. Demi's in the back. We've got a couple of microphones. Stick your hand up. And sorry, go ahead, Max.
Thank you. Max. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start with paying my respects to the traditional owners of the Yugambeh and Kumburo people. Sorry if I got that wrong. Paying my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I also pay my respects to their beautiful coastal lands and forests. But also acknowledging Wadawurrung country, my home country in central West Victoria, where our work protecting our amazing Nabullum, meaning koala, has been conducted. Today we'll be discussing two programs that are monitoring koalas, the Wild Seek program and the National Koala Monitoring Program. I'd like to introduce my co-speakers, Jackson Cass and Caio Santos Neto. Why we monitor koalas. Koalas are hard to monitor because our knowledge of their populations is patchy. They spend most of their times high in the gum trees, where their grey fur blends in. And they are mostly active at night. Resting during the day, koalas also live in low densities and are naturally hard to spot, especially in tall, remote forests. On top of this, monitoring data can vary depending on methods and people involved, making it difficult to get a clear, nationally accredited picture of their populations.
G'day everyone, I'm Jackson Cass. I'm the coordinator for Moorabool Catchment Landcare Group, and I'm going to be talking about the National Koala Monitoring Program, which is unbelievably a national koala monitoring program. So it starts all the way up in northern Queensland, coming down to Victoria and straight across to South Australia. So it's a lot of area to cover. We're running in one particular program where my hometown is, just out of Ballarat, in the Moorabool area. I have the very great pleasure of working with Max and all the other Wadawurrung crew out that way as well. And by using a collaborative approach and diverse monitoring methods, the NKMP, get used to that one, NKMP aims to deliver a robust population estimate across the entire koala range and build long-lasting capability to monitor and assess trends in koala populations. Just to name a few of the different monitoring methods that the NKMP uses, so the citizen science, collaboration with the First Nations groups, detection dogs, line transect, scat-based methods, drones, acoustic monitoring, and AI as well. And by doing so many different monitoring methods, it allows us to access a wealth of existing knowledge and also choose methods specific to those sites and our collaborators' knowledge levels. Somebody once described to me how they use all those different methods at CSIRO to make their models as weird maths. I don't understand it. People that are smarter than me get to do that side of it. So why the Moorabool region? The Moorabool is a stunning and diverse landscape rich in cultural and biodiversity heritage. Koalas are amongst those that do call the Moorabool home. Anecdotally, koalas have been reducing in range and abundance for decades, but there's not sufficient data to back this up. Koalas are not listed as threatened in Victoria, but they are valued very highly by the community. And without more data, we can't take correct actions to protect local koala populations. And how are we addressing some of these? So this includes partnerships and collaborations. We've created a unique web of partnerships and collaborators for this project. It includes Landcare, Wadawurrung, Parks Victoria, public land managers, Federation University, list goes on. New technology, so using thermal drones, acoustic monitors, AI, First Nations knowledge, so integrating that First Nations knowledge and perspective from the start of the program. We've been doing this since 2021. We've been collaborating with Wadawurrung from the very start. I'm very happy to be doing that as well. And citizen science, so empowering citizen science to collect valuable data and share their local knowledge, which we all know is very important, but capturing that local knowledge and turning it into something meaningful is what we've been trying to do. I'm going to handball back over to Max.
Naboom, Koala Monitoring Workshops. The Koala Monitoring Workshops, held by Wadawurrung, Moorabool Catchment, Landcare and CSIRO, have been a successful joint partnership over the past 3 years. These workshops run once a year, bringing together the broader Wadawurrung community to learn about the importance of koalas on Wadawurrung country. Together, we brainstormed what is needed to protect and enhance the lives of koalas, building community knowledge and creating a stronger path toward a sustainable future for our Naboom. As part of these sessions, we've also gained practical skills in koala monitoring. CSIRO introduced us into the Koala Monitoring app and taught us the correct protocols and tools in conducting koala survey transacts. They have also shown us the proper procedures for operating acoustic monitoring devices, with future plans later this year to train us in nighttime thermal drone monitoring. Our on-ground team now use the app whenever koalas are detected on site, helping us track and better understand koala life across Wadawurrung country. And next one. As we discussed in our workshops, the Wadawurrung community has brainstormed what is needed to keep Naboom safe. Improving, expanding and connecting koala habitat, improving habitat through the use of wind, translating to fire in Wadawurrung language, with cultural cool mosaic burns within koala habitats, gaining stronger knowledge about Naboom populations, health and habitat, while also supporting the presence of Wadawurrung people on country collecting data. Learning more about Wadawurrung country history and supporting collaboration through two-way, right-way science and knowledge sharing, putting in place planning and legislation to protect koala habitat from development and preventing injuries from roads with fences, road signs, koala crossings and new trial-based animal detection sonar fences. One of the main monitoring methods we use is transact monitoring. This involves a minimum of 2 surveyors walking the same transact from opposite ends of the track and not sharing their results to ensure the surveys are non-biased. We use this koala spotter app developed by Serco to record the results, which is a key part of the National Koala Monitoring Program. The app, which is free on all devices, allows us to easily record survey transacts and as well as record additional information like vegetation and pest species. This app is a game changer compared to older methods of animal tracking. Its ease of use allows anyone to contribute vulnerable data, which is uploaded directly to the National Accredited Database.
Yeah, I'll just add to that too, Max, that the Koala Spotter app, it's on everything. The first year that we did it, I had to do the old school analog data sheets, and I'm really glad I don't have to do that every year now and scan them all in and keep track of them. And it is freely available, and you can get that data straight back from CSIRO. You just have to email them, they'll send you all of that information straight back to you. These are our survey sites that I've been lucky enough to be doing over the last few years. So just for context, this is the Ballarat and Moorabool area. We're about 80 k's west of Melbourne and about 60 k's north of Geelong. Over those last 3 years, we've walked about 130 kilometres and we've done 117 surveys and I've found 6 koalas. Yeah, feels that way. So there's about a 5% chance of actually finding a koala when we're out doing that. But one thing that we have really been pressing throughout the delivery of this project is how important not finding things is. So when you're having this information, if you're doing normal surveys or observational based things, it's biased because it's only positive detections. So not finding koalas is just as important. And that's the same for any species as well. And we named these people, like myself and Max, who like to go out and do all of these surveys and find nothing, Zero Heroes. So it is really important. I just wanted to leave you with that one as well. To complement some of those transects we have been doing, we had 10 acoustic monitors installed for about a 6-week period. Some of the benefits of doing acoustic monitoring is that they're low cost, low time investment, and they capture loads of data over a long period of time. So we had 10 sites that we installed these acoustic monitors. They were a mix of public and private land, but predominantly private land because of our Landcare networks. And that's one really good thing about doing these surveys with Landcare, is that you get access to some amazing sites that you can't otherwise get access to. They were out for about 6 weeks, and each one of those devices made about 2,000 10-minute recordings. So there's loads of data to go through. And I'm not going to nerd out too hard. Come find me if you want to nerd out. But we did go through some AI recognizers to clean up that data. Back to you, Max.
So, as a result, showed with our detection, A result showed that we detected koalas at almost every site. That is with the acceptance of one recorder that blew up upon deployment. This acoustic survey method is great because it is high detection rate, but it cannot tell us how many koalas are actually there. To figure out population size or abundance, we need to either deploy a grid of acoustic devices or use alternative survey methods. This is why combining multiple survey methods is important in getting an accurate picture of species distribution and abundance. Thank you. I'd now like to hand over to Caio to speak on the WildSeek project.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Yeah. Hello. Hello, sorry for that. Thanks everyone for coming today. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the WildSeek project. That's a partnership between Queensland University of Technology and Landcare and WIRES, that is Wildlife Information Rescue and Education Services. My name is Caio, by the way. And I would like to first remind you about the 2019-2020 Black Summer. So basically we lost billions of animals in there, millions of hectares were destroyed in that events there. But something on the positive side was we got a lot of outsourcing support from community, organizations, and everyone was asking the same question: how can we help? The problem with that is our knowledge about wildlife population was based on pre-fire data, right? So we knew, for example, where koalas used to be, but we didn't know where they were or the survivors were at that time. So how can we tackle that challenge? How we can protect what we cannot find? And that's the idea behind the WildSeek project. So people start thinking about how we can actually search in the landscape, especially in a situation like that. Because imagine you are a rescue member or a volunteer and you have to go there and put food or water sources for animals in danger. First, it's really unsafe to walk through these environments. Second, where do you go? Would you go to a place where koalas used to be, but potentially there's no koala left over there? Or would you go to a place that is 5 kilometers away that could have like a small population of survivors? So these kind of things were the ideas behind the concept of WildSeek, actually trying to get there and looking for animals, for target species in places that is really hard to have people on ground, and we need to provide rapid response. So as Jackson's mentioned, traditional on-ground service, they are the gold standard for tracking, right? So we get really good quality data. People on ground can verify, can see an animal, let's say a koala in this case, can talk about the habitat, can get fine details. That's no question about that. That's the gold standard for wildlife monitoring and tracking. The problem is it has many limitations. So one of these limitations is the scale. Think about the scale of that. So we're literally looking for a needle on a haystack, right? So you walked 130 kilometers in 4 years. How is that compared to the Australian landscape? That's overwhelming, right? And then it comes the second limitation. How you walk through the landscape. Most of times it's dangerous, or you cannot walk on a rocky hill, on a steep slope, on a gully, so that some places are inaccessible. So we need to combine multiple technologies in there, right, to get the best out of we can. The problem with traditional on-ground service is not quality, right? So what we're trying to achieve here is actually a method to give us speed and quantity, so we can actually overcome these limitations. So I'd like you to actually introduce the WildSeek project itself. It was building 3 key pillars in on the project. First one is community. So community is the heart of the project, right? So we need people, and that's where the Landcare groups are the essential part of this structure. Basically, we train these people to apply standardized survey methods to identify wildlife in their region of interest. We given them some tools, so it's also some sense of capacity building because we're giving them some modern tools like AI and drone, as we just heard before, like very sparring talk we had before ours, is a way to give them some future, some career, some development. So it's a way to give back to community, right? After that becomes technology, AI. So we need fast processing. As mentioned before, we have thousands of minutes of acoustic recording. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of images from drones as well. So if you fly a drone and you record a 2 hours video footage, I'm talking a very small survey here. You have to think on the other end, it's gonna be someone watching 2 hours of video to try to identify something in that. So we just put it on a scale and then you have the problem we're trying to face. So that's where technology comes in. And science, right? So that's my main job in this project. We have to create a method that is accurate and reliable before putting it on the ground. And after, we need to constantly evaluate the method and say, okay, this is reliable, this is where we can improve, this is where we can test, and how to push it forward to make it better and better and better. So science is built in all these stages as well. Now I'm gonna tell you quickly how it works. I won't get too much in details because we just have to talk about using drones for turtle protection and marine debris. But what happened is, we train SQT, so I'm from Queensland University of Technology. We trained community groups, Landcare community groups, to understand drones, to fly drones, understand the patterns, when you should do it, when you should not do it. And they are our eyes in the sky, right? But the point is, they also the intelligence on the ground, because they know the specifics of each project. They know what to look for, where it's more appropriate to have people on ground looking for animals, and where it's more appropriate to have drones in the sky doing so. So basically, they use drones that have thermal cameras. Thermal cameras are not the cameras you have in your cell phone. So they see them visible, let's say like that. So you can, everything that is hot can be identified in a thermal camera as long as the environment is cold. That's why we fly at night or like during cold temperatures. And that's here a little snapshot for you. So on the right-hand side, you see an image from above. That's a drone image. And you can see a koala over there. And that's the exactly same image with a koala seeing the thermal camera. Then you might come back to me and say, how do you know that's a koala in there, right? And there comes science again. So the AI was trained and developed with thousands and thousands and thousands of images. And we fly drones in locations where we know exactly where a koala is. You do this in plantation forests, in zoos, wherever all koalas were in GPS, so I can tell this is a koala for sure. And then with more and more images, AI started learning this is the pattern of koalas. So our AI will train it for koalas, but it's not limited to. So that's a matter of actually trying to identify what else you want to do, but that's how we get in there. And also, let's say, AI flag us. It gives us, okay, that's a potentially a koala over that frame of the video. But we, as scientists, look at that and say, okay, that's a koala, that's not a koala, that's a rock, right? So the final call, it's ours, it's not from AI. And this is just to give you an example of how a report would look like or a result of that. So all the green areas there, these are the areas that were surveyed in mid-coast New South Wales. 4 days of work, almost 600 hectares surveyed there. And you actually can see that we're putting koalas back on track. So this population there on the tank plane there wasn't known yet. And, okay, I have to run. So we can see how much we can do in just a few days. So quickly, in 2 years of project, our community groups, Landcare community groups, were able to fly and survey almost 3,000 hectares there. So that's massive. So just to give you a quick comparison, that's, you tell me because you know that I'm not, I'm a soccer person. 1,400 cricket grounds, official cricket grounds. So that will be, if you think about it, it's almost impossible to cover this area with only traditional methods. Beyond that, we detect almost 200 koalas. That's a big number there, it's beautiful, but what I would like to tell you, each of these 200 koalas has a story, has a place, has a tree, has a habitat to be in. So we're not only like getting numbers there, but each of these koalas is helping people on the ground to make better decisions. So they can see where koalas are and they are not, and we're making decision making better and more informed. That's our goal. So just quickly, I would like to show you here that we have nowadays 5 community groups flying the eastern coast of Australia, and they have different metrics of survey area, and that's also because the project's flexible enough to accommodate different resources and different purposes. To finish from my side, I'd just like to finish with a future vision for us. So nowadays, we're looking for koalas in the eastern coast of Australia. But our project, I would like to see being expanded to the whole Australia. Basically, you can look for anything that has warm blood. And imagine you flying once, spending money only once, in this case for koalas, but you can also see invasive species like deer. So we are able to detect multi-species and looking at the same footage and say, that's a koala, that's a deer, that's cattle, that's a glider. So we can actually span that multi-species data. And at the end, build a unified platform because we also operate with camera traps and AI, so we can bring all together in the same platform and have a unified data structure. So to finish from my part, I'd just like to thank for our team members, that Simon on the AI system, Gavin and Sean with our software development and a platform, and Lucy helping us with analysis. I'll hand over back to Max. Final
Thank you. So, in summary, these projects have had a significant outcome, not just for us, but the wider community and the national koala conservation efforts. We now have a much better understanding of national koala populations. This is thanks to building community capacity and new technologies that are more accessible than ever. The results this monitoring means is we can now make more informed local and land management decisions that improve conservation outcomes for koalas while also engaging and enhancing local communities. The takeaway from these programs is that the most important thing for monitoring is collaboration. Collaboration between First Nations groups, Landcare groups, universities, CSIRO, community groups, and everyone in between. Thank you. I'd now like to open the room for questions.
All right, we have time for basically one question, maybe two. And then you can hunt them down, and feel free to also hunt me down for wild seed questions.
Thanks. Question for Carlos. Carlos, I got the impression at the end of your presentation that this is now a system that could get rolled out almost anywhere if people had the resources, whatever money was needed, and level of volunteers. Is that true?
So if I got this question right, you asking me if I can actually expand this project everywhere, basically. Is this right?
Basically. Do you want to help with this?
Yeah, if you can.
I'll help with this one. The idea is yes. The idea is we would be able to use this methodology, train Landcare groups, First Nation groups, community groups, and using the QUT methodology, we would be able to roll this out nationally. Limitations, funding, technology, the usuals in our industry, but yes, it can be scalable.
Yeah. I'd just like to add one little thing. You always have to think about trade-offs here, right? When you're choosing a method. Yeah, so it's possible, but you always have to find what kind of technology and system works better for you.
One more question. I know it's 1:10, but one more question.
Okay, so following on to the funding, how are you funding those community groups? Because drones cost money.
Do you want me to answer this one?
You can.
Okay, I will answer this one. This is WildSeek. Different for you guys, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
WildSeek Wires was the major funding partner for this first leg, and we have funded the drone, we have funded the camera, we have funded the training. They take the drone, they are REOC certified, they are REPL certified, they can use that drone for whatever they need in the future, hopefully keeping more funding stream. Additional funding, more hubs, keeping QUT going, and managing the data. Data is expensive. Management of data is expensive if you're anywhere in IT, data management. Funding. It can be expanded, keep it going. We, as hubs, we work together, so the idea is we funded it, but it doesn't mean that other people cannot join if we can get the resources and methodologies there. If you already have the means or the technology. Am I right to say that? I'm speaking on kind of Gavin.
And the National Koala Monitoring Program is funded by the CSIRO, which is this particular program is funded by the Australian federal government. There's enough funding through till June 30 next year, but the DL news is that they're going to be applying for more funding for an extension for 2 years. From a Landcare perspective, I have every intention to continue to do that, using that as leverage for additional grant applications. So turning that data collection into on-ground planting trees and protection of habitat as well.
Yeah, and to add to that, as Landcare Australia, it's government funding, not-for-profit funding, other corporation funding that we are seeking. So if you have money, come talk to me. One more, sorry. I feel like we want to keep talking. Go for it, go for it. No? One more? We all good?
We were just at a glider forum, and when you were flagging that this video is now sitting there and can be analysed for other animals, so like, will it still be there in 5 years, and will people be able to access all of this video footage to process it for other animals and other things as the tech improves?
You want to answer?
That's more you.
Just to clarify, we work together. Katie and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grant?
Yeah, great.
Sorry, Grant from QUT.
Yeah.
Thank you. I developed the original WildSeek program many years ago now. Yes, the data will be there, and that's part of the intention of what it always was going to be. But you have to note that sensors improve and that data storage is expensive, as anybody would know that has tried storing it. So there will be a life to it, but absolutely that there should be an archive there so that we can go back to it and say, what was it then and what is it now?
Just to give you a quick idea, each of the services we analyze, I'm talking about one, is around 150 gigabytes of data. So it's a lot.
We're gonna end up being like Microsoft and putting computers in the ocean. I'm kidding. Well, thank you very much. If you have more questions, please find the speakers.